Hi everyone, welcome to my channel The Stitchy Wife. I'm Elisabeth and today we're talking Friday sews. Hi everyone, welcome to my channel The Stitchy Wife. I'm Elisabeth and today we're talking Friday sews. Welcome if you're new here and welcome back if you've been here before and follow me along on my sewing journey. I've been up to the first week of May. Well, this was the start of Me Made May 2023, a challenge on Instagram that you probably all have heard about. It's an individual challenge, you don't get prizes or something like that, but what you win out of it is to maybe get some kind of idea how your handmade wardrobe is looking and what you need to add and what you can take away and so on. And my pledge for this year was that I wanted to take photos every day and I wanted to be in Me Mates every day because that is mainly what I have, so that is not an issue. But the photo thing has not taken off at all because I started May with a terrible migraine and I've been in bed 3 days, so that is why I'm filming here. This is what I've been doing the last 3 days. So not much has happened here actually, but what I am going to make tonight, and that is why I started filming tonight, is a new one of these. This is the Melody Dolman from Love Notions Patterns, and they are having a great sale at the moment. It's 40% off their whole site, excluded the new pattern that just came out yesterday, which seems like a great pattern, so check that out if you haven't seen it. It's the Lennox shirt. Lennox top maybe. I will insert pictures here. That is not included in the sale, of course, because it is a completely new pattern, but I also know that it is not full price for about 7 days, I think, so it's definitely worth to take a look. And if you're going to buy it, use Whitney's code Tomcat Stitcheries. I think she is cat 10 and you will get an additional 10% off, so don't miss that. Well, that is why I started thinking about this when I took this out from the wardrobe. This is Melody Dolman I made for Sew April, the first Sew April blouse challenge. That was, I think it was 2 years ago. And when I was about to take photos of it, I realized that I had smudged a big spot here with ink. Not a great thing, but I ended up embroidering using my sister's embroidery machine. It is quite an odd place to have an embroidery on, but nobody knows that it isn't intentional, so nobody else but me and now you, but you won't tell anything, right? But I made this long sleeve because in Sweden it is cold and I needed a white blouse with long sleeves at that time, and it was actually going to be a blouse for my mom's funeral, so it's a lot of memories with this blouse, but I really love it, and I love the fact that this reminds me to have faith and believe every time I take it on. And what I was thinking about doing now is recreating this blouse, but I'm actually gonna, right as I started filming this, I realized I want to try and make it a long, almost tunic length, or maybe even a dress length, short dress length, that I could wear as a tunic or a dress. Maybe open as a tunic and closed as a dress. And I will try and take you along with me. I will film what I'm making tonight because I'm going to try and cut it out tonight. And I will show you how I'm adding the sleeves to this pattern because it is a sleeveless pattern. But it is the most simple thing in the world. So I will then try and make that a separate video, I think, to be able to, or maybe I won't talk much more than this, so because I have nothing else to tell you about, unfortunately, more than I've been in bed all the time. And I know that if you saw my post on Instagram, I said that I was planning on making a vlogmas in May this year, but it hasn't started very well, as you can see and as you can think, and I don't know if it's too big of a take on now. Maybe I will wait till June or something like that, and I will try and make some shorts, YouTube shorts, and share what I'm wearing every day, and then put that together to a weekly video, and at least try and show my Me Made May that way. And I'm gonna try and share what I'm wearing, and that is more for my sake because I'm lost at the moment, I mean, regarding what I'm gonna wear. I have absolutely no idea what my style is. I don't know what I want to wear. I don't know what I want to sew. I feel completely out there. And I know that the best way for me is trying to sort out. I don't know where to begin, but I need to sort out what I'm wearing and not, and why I'm wearing it, and if I'm liking it or if I'm not. And maybe I should change styles completely. Why not? I'm almost 50. I'm turning 50 next year, I mean. And I never thought I was going to live this long, and I never thought I was going to get this many days. And every day I get is a pure gift. And I want to embrace it, and I want to feel happy when I look in the mirror of what I'm wearing, because I know I can create most things, but I'm quite unadventurous. And this last 9 or 10 months that I've been really sick again meant a lot of PJs and just loungewear, and I'm so sick of it. And even though I'm spending all my time at home isolated, why can't I use pretty clothes anyway? That will cheer me up, I think so. Or I will get tired of it, and I don't know, but I will try and make something out of it this May and see what I can get out of this challenge for me, simply for me. And if you want to see my thoughts and follow along on my thought process, check out the shorts and make sure to subscribe, because then you will get notified with everything I publish. And I would be so happy to have you here as a part of this little sewing community in the world, in my corner of the world, I mean. Well, let's start sewing the Melody Dolman with sleeves. I hopefully will have inserted info on the sizing and so on during me speaking here somewhere. You get what I mean. This is the fabric I'm going to use. I have 3 meters of this, and I bought this on Bougth, thanks to recommendation from the Umbrian sewist. She didn't recommend me personal, but I watched her video, and if you haven't seen that, I will link her down below. She's a great creator here on YouTube, and I love watching her videos and what she makes. And yeah, she's so, yeah, just like her videos. And this was Bougth is a company from Netherlands, and they have great prices on it. Is pure cotton, and it's this. I think this will be something I will have a lot of use for. And if I'm thinking like that, if I realize that I don't use this dress or tunic very much, I can always shorten it to a shirt, and I know that I will wear, because I wore this blouse so much, and I don't know what took me so long to make another one. But let's start this process, and I will share how I'm adding sleeves. I will not make a sew along out of it, because that would take far too long, but I will share how I make the long sleeve with a cuff and how I lengthen the blouse to make it a dress. And you will see the finished result. I hope so, at least. Stay put, and let's get over to the cutting table. What measurements you need to draft this sleeve by yourself is, if you have a Melody Dolman, the best thing is to see where the sleeve is ending, this is ending before you added the cuff. If you have sewn the Melody before, you would have added a cuff, and you need to measure it above that. You can see this sleeve, this seam line, there is no other line here before. There, and to where you want your cuff to begin. If you have not sewn the Melody before, you hold the pattern up to you and you make an approximate, a guesstimation where this line will end up. Hang on a minute, I will show you. This is part of the front pattern piece, since I've lengthened mine, so I need to cut it off. But you put it like this, you hold your arm out like this, and then you put a pin there, or hopefully have a sweater beneath or a mark or something like that. And then you measure from that down to where this seam line should be. Mine is 17.5 inches, I think. And then you measure how long you want this cuff to be. I want mine to be finished measurements 2.5 inches. And then you see how much overlay you want, if you want any overlay. And if you don't want this cuff, if you just want an elastic or maybe just fold under, then you just add that much then you just measure to that point how long you want your sleeve, and then just fold under. That is another way of doing it. I just think the cuff is looking a little bit more polished, but I'm definitely gonna try one time fold under and add elastic and see how that turns out, and maybe add some volume to the sleeve in a more softer fabric, but that is for another day. But I love my Melody Dolman, so if you haven't checked out the sale and you don't have the pattern, please check it out, because it's just great and versatile pattern. And since it is so easy to add sleeves yourself, I promise you it will be a great pattern to have in your pattern library. Well, let's cut my new shirt dress and see how this turned out. I've lengthened this pattern so much so that it will be a dress this time. Let's drop the sleeve and then cut the fabric and see where we end up. Let's create a sleeve piece and cuff piece after the measurement we took on the sleeveless Melody Dolman. Here we have the two pattern pieces that we need. This is the front and this is the back. What I've done is I've marked the 3/8 of an inch seam allowance that they have written here on the pattern pieces. Mark there and there, so I get a cross here out where the sleeve is going to be attached. The same is made here. This is upside down for you, but I hope it's okay. I'm now going to twist this around, since you see that these pattern pieces you can't put them like this. I tried that and I realized, fortunately, that was a mistake. Now I twist that around and I marked an X there where the seam allowances meet, and that is the seam line. And we're now gonna make sure that these two crosses meets there, and then we make sure that the seam lines meet here, so that our curve is correct here. You can see that. Try and make it not so twisted. And under here is a Swedish tracing paper, so I can draw the sleeve head and make it a bit straighter. And what I'm actually going to do is start by marking the point here, the sleeve head, the shoulder point. Then I'm going to start there, draw a line like this. We're going to draw it up later. We now have the length we need and of the sleeve head, and we can now take these away to make it. What I start off by doing is I am drawing a line between the two where the underarm seam is going to meet. A straight line there, a perpendicular. Then we have something to measure from. I don't know if this is necessary. I don't know if I said this, but I'm by no means a pattern maker, but I've tried this and it works for me. So don't make this in your most beautiful fabric at the first time. Make a toile, promise me that. Otherwise I will be so sad if there is something wrong with this and this was just lucky, I think, for me working out. What I'm doing then is drawing a straight line. That is our grain line for the fabric, from the midpoint of the sleeve head that we just draw, and then you use your ruler, or you can use them. It's easier for you to see. I follow one of the lines here like that. Make sure that the line is perpendicular to the sleeve head. That is why I think it's working okay. Now we need to see what the measurement was that our sleeve was supposed to be from the top to the bottom, and that is without seam allowances at first. And mine measured 17.5 inch. Take my ruler and measure 17. We will add the seam allowances after this. 17.5 inch. I have also measured around the cuff, how wide, or actually how wide I want the sleeve to be, because if you don't want to add the cuff or just fold under, that is another way of doing it, but this tutorial is about adding the cuff. Because without a cuff it's even easier, you just add the seam allowance to add, to fold under, and then you're finished. But I measured my sleeve to here, because that is how long I want my sleeves long, as you know it if you've been here before. And I know that mine need to be 11 inches in total. That means 5.5 inches on both sides of this dot. Once again, let's take this as a guiding tool to make sure that that line is straight, and then I take this as a measuring tool. 5.5 inch should be the midpoint. There we have it. Now I can take this away, because you can see it's close there. Put a point there and here at the 11 inch, so I know where to draw the line. And then we just connect the dots and we have a sleeve piece. Now we will add the seam allowances and we will make the cuff piece. You can add whatever seam allowances you want, but to make it easy, add the same as the pattern is overall. And for me it is 3/8 of an inch. Now let's get to the cuff piece. What I've made here is, you've seen I'm a bit off, I've added this much to my cuff, other than the hole. You could take away the, because this is still so wide so you can get through it, but I like the touch of buttons and so on. But I need to measure that. I didn't show you that. And it is approximately 1 inch overlap. I will have a 1 inch overlap on my next one anyway. And that means I had 11 inches here. That means that if I want the 1 inch overlap on both sides, I need a 13 inch wide cuff. And I know that without seam allowances it was 2.5 this here. So that means when it's doubled it's 5 inch. Okay, so 5 inch times 13. And now you just need to make a square piece. So I'm gonna do it here. I'm gonna start by making a very long, just to get the dimensions correct, like this. Then I'm gonna measure it. What did we say? 5 inch on this side, then we end up here, and 13 this way. And now we can just put our ruler like this. It's a bit tricky because it's sticking to the tracing paper, but I think you get what I'm doing. I hope you are. I'm going to be completely honest with you, it isn't that exact. The cuff piece is good if it is as exact as possible. Remember what you added as overlap. I need to write it on here, otherwise I will definitely not remember it. And then you will add seam allowances on that. And since it is straight pieces, it's easy to add seam allowances. Here we have it. Please promise me you mark what this is. Let's write melody sleeve cuff, cut to 1 inch. I don't know if it's called overlay. What is this piece called? You probably have a better name for it, but I will call it overlay, then I'm thinking about it at least. Included. And 3/8 of an inch, and cut to size large. Now let's cut these pattern pieces and let's get over to the fabric. So here you can see 2 sleeve pieces cut out right sides together. This is a fabric with the same right side and wrong side, so that is why it's hard to see, but it should be right sides together. 2 pieces, 2 sleeve cuff pieces cut out, and then interfacing on for the sleeve cuffs. So I've cut these out. What I forgot to tell you when I drafted the pattern pieces is that mark to make it easy on yourself. You start from where the seam allowances, where your seam is supposed to be, and 1 inch in, and the same on this side, 1 inch in, and here, and just put a notch or dot or whatever, so you know where you will fold over, where you will make this overlay. That is to make it easier. Just think about that. Now let's go to the sewing machine and sew it together. You follow all the instructions. I will meet you at the sewing machine and share what I make or how I make it. Okay, I will try and make this as clear as possible. I'm now at point 12 in the instructions, and I'm supposed to sew the cuffs on the end of the bodice piece here. And instead of that, I'm now going to attach my sleeve, my self-drafted sleeves. But first I am going to prepare the cuffs for the sleeves. If you haven't any cuff, if you're not planning on having any cuffs, you just skip this step and wait till we attach the sleeve part. You should have 2 of these, and you should now put them right sides together, fold them lengthwise, and then you sew these 2 the short sides together, so we can turn it inside out, or right side out, I mean. So both these 2 with 3/8 of an inch seam allowance, here, and I interfaced these. And that is depending on the fabric. You don't necessarily need to do that. I didn't do that on the white cotton shirt I'm wearing, but this is too thin to not do it, so that is why. The cuffs are sewn right side together. What I do now is I clip these pointers here. There is the seam as close as possible. And then turn it right side out. I hold on to that, and then I just wiggle a bit, and you see, quite a perfect point. And the same with this. And now we press it and do the same thing with that. So you will end up with 2 like this. Okay, now we have these. Sorry for getting seasick. I'm not having a very good stand for the phone. Sorry. Try and you see, make sure that these marks has not disappeared, the 1-inch mark, if you're going to have a 1-inch overlay on the cuffs, because they are important in the next step when we're using this. But now we're finished with this, and we're going to attach the sleeve heads to the bodice part. And I'm only going to show you on one because it is the easiest way of attaching a sleeve ever. Here you have it. Take your sleeve head, which is the wider part of your sleeve piece. Make sure you find your notch. Right side, this is my right side, since it is the same for me, it doesn't matter. But make sure you see that it is that, if you have it. Notch here to shoulder seam. Put a pin. And then you just match these. It is so incredibly easy to create this kind of sleeve. And I think the only time you will be wary about it is if you have a very thick fabric. I wouldn't do this in very thick linen, for example, because then it could be bulky. And you have way better patterns for that. But now you just sew this seam in both sleeves. And yeah, we'll meet you back here. Now we have the sleeve attached to the bodice. What we do now is we fold in the shoulder seam, take the sleeve under, what do you call it, under seam now? You fold it like this, you fold the sleeve. Simply hang the shirt as it's supposed to hang on your body. You get what I mean, right? I hope you get. And then you will sew the sleeve and side seam in one step. If you sew on a knit, any kind of knit pattern, any kind of knit sweater, I promise you, you've made it like this before. You sew the side seam from the end of the sleeve, as far out as possible on the sleeve, and then all the way down to the end of the shirt. And you do that on both sides, and we'll meet you here for the last part of the cuffing. Okay, I hope you can see how I have sewn all the way from the bottom of the hem, sleeve hem, and here is the armpit, and right down to the bottom. Mine is way longer than yours probably are going to be, because I lengthened mine 17 inches to make it a dress. But this is the final step for the sleeve part. If you now want to hem it, you could, if you had included that in the length measurements. But we are going to add the cuff that I wanted to add and that I have on mine. But that is all up to taste, and if you want to make it a bit easier, or yeah, what you like. We have now turned the shirt right side out. So this is the right side, and that is what's going to be out when you are doing a cuff. You now take your cuff piece and look where your marking is and put that one corner to that, and make sure that when you look over, the ends are meeting. You see, there is one mark, there is one mark, and they are overlapping like that. Just make sure that it fits to this, and then you're okay. What I'm now going to do is I'm going to fold it in half like this, you see, because I want equal amount of this around that. That is all a style decision. So you decide where you want these buttons to be. You can have it on top or in front or in back, wherever, but I want it half and half, so to speak, like that. And now you make sure that the right side of the cuff, if you have different sides of the cuff too, in regards of layout and so on, this is what's going to be what you're going to see when you wear the shirt. You put that on top, pull it through, and you match it. This is the underarm seam. And I'm going to match it like that. Then I'm just going to make it even. And you could do folds and so on if you want to, but that is, as I said, a design feature. It all is. This will match up perfectly as is, and I'm very satisfied with that. Now I'm only going to sew that and turn that one out and do the other sides the same way, and our sleeve is finished. So I hope you have gotten something good out of this tutorial. It is a bit messy, it is a bit shadowy, but I don't have the right equipment for tutorials yet. I'm sorry. I'm hoping to save up for some of that, but if you liked the tutorial, please click the like button, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so, because that would mean so much to me. I will meet you back when I finished this shirt dress and show you how it turned out. Just wanted to show you the finished placket. Here I will add button and buttonholes, or fake buttonholes, maybe. I will probably sew it together because the cuff is so wide that I'm very fine without it. So we'll be right back with the finished result. I'm so happy so far. Okay, please don't mind how I look today, because this is the morning after yesterday's evening when I sewed this Melody Dolman up into a shirt dress, and all I can think about is another PJ or scrubs, or even my mom's old cleaning outfit. I know have I made a complete fail? Should I shorten it off? I will try and style it with a belt. I think that might make it a bit better, but it is not at all what I envisioned, and I love the pattern itself. I love it as a dress like this, but I don't know if it is shapeless, if that is the problem. Maybe I've just sewn it together in the middle, because I didn't take in consideration that I couldn't just draw a straight line when I lengthen it, because that means I have almost no movement in it. And you can see it almost looks like a sack of potatoes. And I don't know if it is the combination or whatever it is. Please help me. But it really made me laugh, because all I said to you yesterday when I filmed my Friday sews was that I wanted to get out of PJs. And what do I create? Another PJ. And it is quite a nice one. And I never thought about using the Melody Dolman as a PJ pattern. And I'm actually thinking about making this one into double gauze. And see how, I don't think as a dress, but as a shirt version with long sleeves. Okay, what do we think? Is it any better? Please be honest with me, because I honestly think it is a failure. I might be, I don't know if it is that I'm tired and all I can see is PJs at the moment, but help me. What do you think? What should I do? Should I cut it off? I could easily cut it off there somewhere and do the same lines and shaped lines for him, and it would be a lovely shirt that I know I would wear. But I don't know if I should give this a week or two and try and wear it and see how I feel. But I almost feel already, you probably hear how I'm sounding, but you could persuade me. If anybody could, you could. I have not asked Peter yet, and his reaction most of the time is quite what do you call saying, it says a lot. His facial expression says a lot, so we'll see. But what do you think? What should I do? Leave it as is Is it a good thing or is it a fail? Is it a yay or no? Help me. The sleeves turned out great, however. And don't think that this pattern has anything to do with it, because it's all my fault. I think I paired the wrong things. And this is a good example of showing that too. I almost thought about not showing you, but I think it's one of the things we learn most is in our fails, or in our when things don't turn out the way you want them to turn out. So what do you think? It's a lot of shadowing and everything, but I just wanted to share this with you because it made me giggle and made me laugh. Okay, what should I do? Help me. Well, this is going to end my Friday sews for this week. I'm quite tired, as you probably can see, and I hope, if nothing else, that this tutorial has helped you to see that this is a fantastic pattern, a great versatile pattern, and I'm really looking forward to making one where I don't use the cuff piece, just lengthen it even more and fold it under and maybe give it some volume in a thinner viscose fabric. So that is definitely one of my projects this spring. And I'm gonna have this weekend to think about what I want to make next and how I'm gonna plan my May. And I will come back to you in the beginning of next week and tell you all about it. Take care, have a wonderful weekend, and be kind to yourself and be kind to each other. And hope you get a lot of sewing in and a little sun to your face, because we all need sun. I can't help but seeing my PD. I'm sorry. Well, what do you think? Help me. I'm off to I'm gonna get changed because I'm not gonna go to the pharmacy in this. But I'm off to the pharmacy and then it's home, and I will continue to plan my Me Make May and what I'm gonna do for May this year. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Bye for now.